Bloom Nutrition just launched a functional beverage that puts them in direct competition with their largest investor. So, why did Nutrabolt, the owner of C4 Energy, not only encourage this Bloom product strategy, but help make their vision a reality? I'll get to all the strategic nuance needed to answer that introductory question a bit later in this content, but let me first get everyone up to speed on the investment deal news from earlier this year in January. That is when Nutrabolt announced it made a significant minority investment into Bloom Nutrition. The investment provided Nutrabolt with an ownership stake of approximately 20%, making the company Bloom's largest investor. This investment was part of a larger $90 million financing round that also included veteran CPG investor Clayton Christopher and consumer investment firm Amberstone. It's important to note that Bloom Nutrition's co founders, Mari Llewellyn and Greg LaVecchia, remain the majority shareholders, but along with the investment, Nutrabolt's chairman and CEO, Doss Cunningham, and Clayton Christopher joined Bloom's board of directors. If you remember from my earlier content analyzing that deal, I stated it would be accretive to both companies, but in uniquely distinct ways. While most pundits focused on how the Nutrabolt investment would provide strategic growth capital to fuel and accelerate many key areas of Bloom's business, I concentrated on something not explicitly stated within that press release. And that's because I knew that Bloom's problem was never a lack of speed. Instead, it could benefit from the decision making maturity of Nutrabolt. I might be biased because of my strategic brain, but I've always believed that direction is more important than speed. Bloom Nutrition might be within its aggressive scaling phase, but every leveling up in CPG requires a directional checkup to ensure strategic alignment. And the directional checkup needed in early 2024 was determining which category should start Bloom's ready to mix powder to ready to drink liquid beverage identity crisis. Being privy to sections of the product development roadmap, I can confirm that there was, in fact, an alternate categorical path, but eventually energy made the most sense. So then, why did Bloom pick energy drinks when it's the top selling green supplement brand within any large US retailer it has placement? There are some interesting underlying drivers that maybe I'll explore in another content piece soon, but it mostly comes down to fulfilling a growing customer need within the largest functional beverage category, and that being made much easier by having the ability to leverage Nutrabolt's core expertise in energy beverage innovation and commercial expansion. As usual, I'm not going to spend too much time on the product specifics, but I do think Bloom Sparkling Energy is positioned within a great intersection of various wellness minded consumer product trends, the brand's core customer expanding wants and needs, and within a fragment of the energy drinks market that's more incremental than would cannibalize its friend, the powerful C4 Energy. And I'll expand on that soon, but firstly, let me quickly offer up an interestingly relevant historical tidbit to both Bloom Nutrition and just the CPG industry overall that was inspired by this product launch. When Bloom Nutrition initially launched in late 2018, its first product wasn't the TikTok viral wellness sensation greens and superfoods, but three flavors of a pre workout energy powder. When I recorded a conversational content piece with Bloom's co founder Greg LaVecchia in September of 2023, he mentioned that it didn't initially sell very well, yet it's still within the portfolio today in something like 15 flavors and two different caffeine levels. So it's cool to see the brand have a categorical full circle moment. And then the interestingly relevant CPG industry historical tidbit was a fun little product innovation remix from just over 17 years ago. If you follow me on LinkedIn, you've already seen this information, but did you know that Del Monte Foods entered the energy drinks market with a product called Bloom Energy that had a goal of providing women with a delicious alternative to the average caffeinated drink? Sounds familiar, right? I've said it once and I'll say it until I'm blue in the face. Everything is a remix of the past in the functional CPG space, even if you don't even realize it. But that isn't intended to be some kind of negative commentary at all, because usually the most successful products don't arrive out of nowhere. They are remixes of previous ones. Bloom Sparkling Energy will now be rewarded by the market because of the incremental after incremental product innovations and market segmentation abilities that made the strategic game plan of Del Monte Foods unfamiliar and too novel in 2007. But let's shift to why I believe the Bloom Nutrition deal is already proving to be value accretive for Nutrabolt. And to do that, I need to start unraveling that introductory question around why the portfolio company that owns C4 Energy would not only encourage the creation of a competing energy drink, but provide Bloom with extensive R&D and commercial resources. In 2015, when Nutrabolt started dabbling with a smaller format RTD's liquid extension of its Cellucor pre-workout C4, I believe it triggered a butterfly effect that became the single most important strategic shift in the company's history. Extending formats of its market-leading pre-workout product evolved further into C4 becoming the energy platform of Cellucor, but quickly spun into C4 Energy, the star standalone brand within the Nutrabolt portfolio due to the successful launch of C4 carbonated energy drinks in early 2018. C4 Energy became a beverage powerhouse, aggressively climbing the energy drinks market leaderboard into the top 5 brands and catching the eye of Keurig Dr Pepper, which invested $863 million for about 30% of Nutrabolt in December of 2022. Then the question turns into how did that capital infusion expand strategic optionality for Nutrabolt, and why is that ultimately important? Yes, some of that $863 million from KDP went towards fueling the growth of C4 Energy, but it also allowed them to take on the role of investor, something that founder Doss Cunningham had already been doing for many years with his family office VC firm called Live Well Ventures. Bloom Nutrition was the first minority investment by Nutrabolt, but I don't see it being the last. And I already predicted the next target could be hydration brand Element that just made a similar RTD liquids format extension decision like Bloom Nutrition. But maybe that's a good transition into talking about the remarkable transformation happening within seemingly every multi-billion dollar beverage category, especially energy drinks. For the last decade, there has been this flywheel effect of categorical demand growth feeding product innovation. To compete for consumer attention, different wellness focused marketing strategies and functional ingredients have been utilized by this massive brand proliferation. Yet, this fragmentation arguably increased discoverability, giving the energy drinks market this almost sixth sense ability to evolve and appeal to a wide range of active lifestyle consumers with varied energy needs throughout the day. But within the categorical fragmentation, specifically one layer deep into the energy plus subcategory, you'll see a split into what's broadly referred to as performance energy drinks and wellness energy drinks. Now, we can argue if consumers even binarily think like that within the energy drinks market, or if this is just segmentation minutia that was put in place to help justify business decisions. But that's how I'm going to lay out the marketplace for visualization purposes. And I'm not going to bore you to death right now by explaining my belief around demand spaces. Nutrabolt has positioned C4 Energy within performance energy drinks, where it's currently the top selling brand, slightly ahead of Ghost Energy in tracked channel retail sales. Alternatively, Bloom Sparkling Energy is being positioned within the wellness energy drinks that's led by Celsius. But more importantly, Bloom Nutrition taps into today's female Gen Z audience that's highly incremental to Nutrabolt overall and extremely important within the overall energy drinks market. Now, if we bring KDP back into the discussion and move upstream to consider their energy drink brand portfolio, Bloom Sparkling Energy would equally provide the sole exposure within wellness energy. Similarly, the current KDP brand portfolio of owned or strategically partnered with energy drinks lack any meaningful penetration within the increasingly important female Gen Z consumer cohort. Okay, so what could this all mean to Bloom, Nutrabolt, and KDP? Let's start with Bloom first because they were the focal point of this content. Bloom has shown a strong ability to understand what its customer wants, from communication style and content strategies to mapping out the shopping journey. Additionally, Bloom has done a great job at not only building digital community, but also unlocking the more difficult part of generating offline or analog value from it. If you combine that with the beverage innovation and commercial expertise of Nutrabolt and KDP's distribution muscle, you get results like what Bloom posted this week about selling 100,000 cans in less than a week at Target. After trying the Bloom Sparkling Energy product, I'm fairly confident that retention will be good and sales momentum should build within Target and as they expand distribution after the retail exclusivity period ends. So, this could become one of those huge successes like Alani Nu or Ghost that blasted those brands straight into the top 25 after only 1 year in market. Moving on to what this could mean for Nutrabolt, I've been pretty forthcoming on my belief that the executive leadership team is strategically focused on building a health and wellness focused version of Unilever. To do that, most of the portfolio expansion will need to come from accretive deal making and or full-on acquisitions that extends Nutrabolt into more key consumer-driven wellness platforms. While it's too early to confidently call the Bloom investment a complete success for Nutrabolt, there should be little doubt that it provides the needed leading indicators that advance this strategic game plan forward towards finding its next M&A target and maybe eventually leading to the notion of a future Nutrabolt IPO that I initially brought up in content 18 months ago. But how, especially the potential IPO, impacts KDP is that the beverage giant has certain contractual rights to increase its ownership stake in certain capital raising scenarios. Furthermore, KDP might be looking at an emerging pattern involving how Coca-Cola Company and PepsiCo seem to be currently or soon utilizing their largest or most valuable strategic minority investments that each oddly enough involve energy drink brands. Hindsight would tell us that Coca-Cola should have fully acquired Monster Energy and PepsiCo should have fully acquired Celsius. Similarly, KDP very likely regrets not fully acquiring Nutrabolt when it had the chance in late 2022. But you can't time travel back and change those minority investment deals now. All they can do is try to mold them into something that's maybe equally valuable. And what I mean by that is how Coke, Pepsi, KDP can use Monster, Celsius, Nutrabolt as proxy investment vehicles. Maybe it's to get around antiquated beverage distribution rules or antitrust concerns within key beverage categories. Or maybe more practically, it also can provide the big three with valuable exposure into startups or emerging consumer trends, but within a better organizational structure that can properly foster commercial growth in those earlier stages. But I hope you enjoyed this YouTube video. If you did, consider hitting that like button to support me. Also help me get to my new short-term goal of 4,000 subscribers by hitting that subscribe button. I'd love to see you join me on this journey, but I think slightly over 90% of you that are watching this YouTube video right now are not subscribed to my channel, and that makes me extremely sad. But I do want to thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one.